A band of very light snow heading towards central and eastern Kentucky. We'll put a track on it and let you know when it arrives for your Thursday forecast just ahead.
Hear from a man who says he rushed to help a child being dragged by a school bus in Clark County.
I was just in the house and I heard the boom sound.
It frightened people living nearby what we've learned about a crash in Lexington that killed 2 people.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for watching tonight. You may notice some icy roads tomorrow across parts of the state. Another round of wintry weather could roll in during the morning hours.
And this time we'll be tracking some light snow. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He shows us what he's tracking on the First Alert Defender.
Yeah, light being the operative word with what is coming our way as we go into our Thursday. It's a very narrow ribbon of some snow that is out across parts of southern Missouri right now on live First Alert Defender. Let's show you that. Throw the clouds into the mix as well so you can get an overall idea on exactly how quickly this stuff is moving. Now, we put a little cone on this to show you that this is not a very thick band of light snow. It's only roughly 95 miles right now across southern parts of Missouri. And again, it is still a long way away from central and eastern Kentucky. As a matter of fact, it is better than 300 miles away from downtown Lexington. So that says it's going to be here in all likelihood after the morning commute, after the kiddos are already at school tomorrow. Live First Alert Defender with nothing showing up across central and eastern Kentucky as of now. Clouds continue to thicken back up. But what we are looking at as we go into tomorrow, the prime time on that little light round of wintry weather would be after 8 o'clock in the morning and may carry us into the early part of the afternoon. Now, it's not going to impact everyone, but areas mainly south of Interstate 64 will have the best chance of seeing that burst of some light snow and flurries with a small amount of accumulations that may cause a couple of slick spots on area roads. Coming up in a little bit, we'll focus more on the chances for light snow where you live with a zone-by-zone breakdown.
Chris, thank you. Tonight we are learning more about an accident that injured a Clark County boy. Investigators say a school bus dragged him down a road after his jacket got caught in the door.
It happened this afternoon on Clintonville Road near US 60. The elementary school student is now recovering from his injuries. Tonight, Jordan Valines talked to a man who saw what happened and got the bus driver to stop. It's our top story at 11.
Life is full of unexpected moments.
Never seen nothing like that happen in my life.
When our footsteps,
And I took off and ran as fast as I could.
follow our instincts.
It just instinct. I just wanted to make sure he was okay.
Like what happened to Jeffrey Culbertson on Wednesday,
Terrified, traumatized. Never seen nothing like that in my life.
when he and his father pulled up behind a Clark County school bus that had stopped to drop off an elementary student.
As soon as the little boy got off the bus, the doors closed and the doors caught on his jacket and took off.
He says the bus driver drove 15 to 20 feet down the road. All the while,
The little boy was underneath the bus and face down on the concrete, wasn't moving.
Culbertson then climbed under the bus himself, comforting the boy any way he knew how.
The only thing I could do was just lay down, look at his face, talk to him, try to comfort him, let him know somebody was on the way.
Now he, among many others, are wondering why and how an accident like this happened. The Clark County superintendent says this isn't a matter they're taking lightly.
It's just an unfortunate accident, and we'll be investigating it to make sure that if there's any deficiencies anywhere in our system or our protocol, we'll make those corrections immediately.
As Culbertson reflects on the day's events, he says more than anything,
I'm just glad everything's okay.
he's grateful that he was able to save the young boy during one of life's unexpected moments. In Clark County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
The Clark County School Superintendent says investigators will review surveillance video from the bus tomorrow and decide how to proceed from there. Investigators say the elementary school student that Jordan talked about was taken to UK to be treated for scratches on his face and road rash.
A deadly crash shut down one of Lexington's busiest roads during the afternoon rush hour. Investigators say 2 people died in the crash along Versailles Road near Terrace View Drive. They say 2 cars hit head-on. Garrett Weimer talked to people who saw the crash. He's tracking the investigation tonight.
The sight came as a shock for folks on Versailles Road.
I was just in the house and I heard the boom sound. Come outside a few minutes later and this is going on.
That crash crushed this Honda Civic and tore up this Hyundai, claiming 2 lives in the process and injuring 2 others.
And when I came outside, I'm just like, oh my God, this is bad. This is really, really bad.
Coroner Gary Ginn says during the investigation he found alcohol containers in the car where the driver died.
We will do our toxicology test in order to determine if the driver was under the influence of alcohol.
The crash shut down Versailles Road for nearly 3 hours, which caused some backups outbound during rush hour, but all lanes were back up and open just after 6 o'clock. For those in the area shortly after the crash,
it makes you put life into perspective.
A costly reminder of just how precious life is.
Yeah, because there's a lot of trials and tribulations that come with life, and then to see this, it's hard to look at.
And no doubt even harder for the victims' families. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Investigators say the driver of the Civic died at the scene. One of his passengers died after being taken to the hospital. The coroner described them as 2 young men. Their names have not yet been released.
Tonight, police have named the man they say robbed a Lexington bank. Lexington police have obtained an arrest warrant for this man, 25-year-old John Nation. He's being charged with robbery. Lexington police say that Nation walked into the Central Bank and Trust on Richmond Road this afternoon, pulled out a gun and demanded money. Police think that he may also be involved in an attempted theft at a nearby Rite Aid just before the bank robbery. Police think that Nation is driving a white Toyota 4Runner. They say he has a teardrop tattoo under one of his eyes.
Tonight, police have arrested an Ohio man they say was plotting a terror attack on the U.S. Capitol building. Court documents claim the man sympathizes with Islamic State militants. Craig Boswell has the latest on the investigation.
Court papers say 20-year-old Christopher Lee Cornell of Cincinnati plotted to attack the U.S. Capitol with guns and pipe bombs. Wednesday, Cornell reportedly purchased 2 semi-automatic rifles and 600 rounds of ammunition at this store before his arrest.
The agents had come across the parking lot, and 2 agents were on top of him, 2 or 3.
The criminal complaint says Cornell used Twitter under the name Rahil Maruzubaida and posted statements, videos, and other material in support of the Islamist militant group known as ISIS or ISIL. Court papers say a confidential informant told the FBI about Cornell and began communicating with him online. Cornell told the informant he didn't need authorization to conduct a terrorist attack, writing, "I believe that we should just wage jihad under our own orders and plan attacks and everything." Cornell reportedly met the informant in October and November to discuss his plot. He said he saw members of Congress as enemies and planned to kill officials and employees in and around the Capitol.
He was like a big kid. His best friend is his cat Mikey and his mom.
Cornell's father said his son kept this part of his life a secret.
We never talked too much about his faith until like the last couple of weeks he finally started opening up.
The FBI says the public was never in any danger. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Investigators say the FBI informant began communicating with Cornell through Twitter and then through a separate messaging platform.
A nightmare for a Central Kentucky woman. Investigators say a man threatened to kill her and even tattooed a vulgar word on her body. An Anderson County grand jury indicted Michael Joseph for wanton endangerment, unlawful imprisonment, and assault. Police say that Joseph got into an argument with the victim, accusing her of texting an ex-boyfriend. Police say Joseph held a gun to her head, held her against her will, and then tattooed her.
But this crime definitely is more personal to the victim for sure because of the prolonged disfigurement and permanent disfigurement involving this crime.
The mother of the victim told us she's afraid Joseph will kill her daughter if he gets out of jail. The Anderson News reports Joseph served time in 2013 for stabbing a man outside the Lawrenceburg Walmart.
If you thought the lines for security were longer than usual at Rupp Arena last night, you weren't alone. Many people who went to last night's UK game said it took them longer to get through security. So today we asked Rupp Arena officials if anything had changed. They told us they thought it would be a good safety measure to start inspecting coats. Security guards had fans take them off as they went through security. Arena officials say no specific event or threat triggered the change, but the attacks in France last week did raise awareness.
We try to think of the worst case scenarios that can happen at any time so that the general public and our patrons feel safe when they come, knowing that we are ahead of the game trying to stay above industry standards.
Arena officials say the inspection process can change from event to event, but they say people going to the Miranda Lambert concert coming up on Friday should expect their coats to be checked.
A grand jury will now hear the case of two men accused of a deadly shooting at a Winchester apartment building.
Winchester police charged both Aaron Staley and Lamont Wilkerson with murder. During a hearing today, police testified the two men and a third murder suspect, Christopher Robinson, went to an apartment last month to rob a man of marijuana. Police say shots were fired and a stray bullet went through the floor, killing Amber Cottle in the apartment below. Defense attorneys argued charges should be reduced against Wilkerson and Staley, claiming the two men never made it inside the apartment where the shots were fired. But the judge refused, saying the suspect should have known an innocent person could have been harmed.
You should presume that there are people to the left of you, to the left of you, to the right of you, above you, and below you.
Police also charged Wilkerson's girlfriend, Lillian Barnett, with complicity. They say she drove the three suspects to the apartment. A call about some suspicious activity near a Lexington apartment complex ended with two men being arrested tonight. Lexington police say when they showed up at the apartments on Donnabrook Drive, the two men in question didn't cooperate. Police say an officer had to tase one of the men and the other ran off. Police eventually arrested that suspect. Police say the car the men were in had drugs inside it. They say one of the suspects was taken to the hospital as a precaution.
Investigators think that icy roads led to a crash that killed 10 people on board a prison bus in West Texas. Police say the bus slid off an overpass along Interstate 20 and hit a passing freight train this morning. Investigators say that 8 prisoners and 2 corrections officers were killed. 4 other prisoners and a corrections officer were taken to a hospital.
Some frightening moments today at an eastern Kentucky airport when a small plane crash landed. It happened at the Pike County Regional Airport. Investigators say the plane was trying to land at the airport to refuel when it crashed and flipped over. Only the pilot was on board, but investigators say he wasn't injured. Investigators aren't sure what caused that crash.
4 people had to be taken to the hospital after a huge fire destroyed a Louisville condo building, and firefighters think boiling eggs started the fire. The Wildwood condominiums in Fern Creek caught fire late this morning. Firefighters say a man on the first floor was boiling eggs and started the fire. They say he tried to put it out, but it quickly spread. Firefighters say they rescued 2 people and some pets from the burning building. They say the condo building is a total loss.
A first-of-its-kind refrigerator will soon hit the market, and it's made right here in Kentucky. General Electric is teaming up with Keurig to make a refrigerator with a built-in coffee machine. The coffee machine will use Keurig cups to brew coffee. The refrigerator will be made at GE's Appliance Park facility in Louisville. GE says a key part of designing the new refrigerator came from product testing using a 3D printer. Those are so cool and doing so many cool things. So,
if it made hot chocolate, I might be interested.
I would be too, yeah.
Okay.